The hospital scanner had never failed before. It was a quiet night in St. Ardent Medical Center, the largest human hospital on the edge of the Orion trade zone. The lights were soft. Machines hummed like sleeping insects. Nurses walked slowly, tired after long shifts. Everything was normal. Until the scanner screamed. Dr. Elias Monroe froze when the sound cut through the room. It was not a normal alarm. This was sharp, loud, and angry, like metal tearing itself apart. The scanner's screen flashed red, then white, then red again. The patient on the bed did not move. Her name, according to the file, was Lena Ward. Age 23. Species human. That was what the form said. She looked human too. Pale skin. Dark hair. Closed eyes. A small cut on her forehead from the street accident that brought her here. Nothing special. Nothing strange. But the scanner did not agree. On the screen, letters appeared, shaking as if the system itself was afraid. Error. Species not in database. Then the scanner exploded. Glass shattered. Sparks flew. Smoke filled the air. A loud boom shook the room, and the machine collapsed inward like it had been punched by an invisible fist. Nurses screamed and ran back. Security alarms began to howl through the hospital. Dr. Monroe fell to the floor, his ears ringing, his heart pounding. Only one thing in the room was untouched. Lena Ward. She lay still on the bed, breathing slowly, peacefully, as if nothing had happened at all. Dr. Monroe stared at her through the smoke. "That's not possible," he whispered. Across the city, deep under the steel floors of the United Human Authority BioWatch Division, a red alert lit up a dark room. A man in a black uniform looked up from his console. His name was Commander Ryan Holt. He had seen many alerts in his career. Alien viruses, illegal gene edits, smuggled hybrid children. But never this. His screen showed a simple message pulled from the hospital system. Species not in database. The commander's face went hard. "Lock the channel," he said. "Trace the scanner ID." A technician's fingers flew over the keys. "Confirmed, sir. St. Ardent Medical Center. Scanner model H90. Updated database yesterday." Holt's jaw tightened. The H90 scanner could read anything. Human. Alien. Mixed blood. Even ancient DNA patterns from extinct species. If it failed, it meant only one thing. "This blood does not exist," Holt said quietly. "Sir?" the technician asked. "Prepare a containment team," Holt replied. "Level black." The room went silent. Level black was never used for normal humans, or even normal aliens. It was used for legends. Back at the hospital, security forces sealed the floor. Patients were moved away. Doctors were ordered to stay silent. Official reports were already being edited. The explosion would be called a technical fault. It always was. Dr. Monroe washed the blood from his hands in the sink, his mind racing. He had been a doctor for 30 years. He had treated humans, Martians, Virex traders, and even one silent Stonkin monk. He had never seen a machine react like that. He walked back to Lena's bed. Her heart rate was steady. Her brain scan was normal. Her blood pressure was perfect, too perfect almost. He looked at her arm, where the scanner needle had taken blood. The wound was gone. Not healed. Gone. Dr. Monroe leaned closer, his breath shaking. "What are you?" he whispered. Lena's eyes opened. They were dark. Deep. Not glowing. Not alien. But when she looked at him, Dr. Monroe felt something heavy press on his chest. Not fear. Not pain. Respect as if he was standing before something old and powerful. Something that did not need to prove itself. She blinked once and spoke in a calm, soft voice. "Am I safe?" she asked. Dr. Monroe swallowed. "Igrejas. You're in a hospital." She nodded slowly. "Good. I don't like hurting places like this." Before he could ask what she meant, the lights in the room flickered. Then the door slid open. Men in black armor entered, moving fast and silent. Their helmets hid their faces. Human authority symbols shone on their shoulders. Commander Holt stepped in behind them. His eyes locked onto Lena instantly. She sat up in bed, looking at him with quiet curiosity. "So," she said, "they finally noticed." Holt raised a hand, stopping his soldiers from aiming their weapons. You caused a scanner explosion, he said carefully. That doesn't happen by accident. Lena tilted her head. I didn't cause it. The scanner tried to name me. It failed. That's the same thing, Holt replied. Dr. Monroe stepped forward. Commander, she's just a girl. She was in an accident. Holt did not look at him. Doctor, step back. Lena looked between them and sighed softly. I told them this would happen one day, she said, almost to herself. Told who? Holt asked. My people, she answered. The soldiers stiffened. There are no records of your people, Holt said. No species like you exists. Lena smiled gently. That's because we left before your records began. Silence filled the room. Holt studied her closely. Are you human? She thought for a moment. Partly. Are you dangerous? Lena met his eyes. Only if humans choose to be. That answer made Holt uneasy. He turned to his team. Take her to Black Site Orion. Lena did not resist as they helped her stand. She walked calmly, barefoot on the cold floor. As they moved her toward the exit, every electronic screen in the room turned on at once. Heart monitors, wall displays. Even a broken scanner screen flickered back to life. On every screen, the same message appeared. Welcome back. Guardian-class life form detected. The soldiers froze. Commander Holt stared at the words, his blood running cold. Guardian-class? He whispered. Lena looked at the screens and smiled sadly. I was hoping you'd forgotten that name, she said. Far above the hospital, unseen by human eyes, something massive shifted in the dark of space. Ancient systems waking after a very long sleep. And on Earth, humanity had just discovered that it was not alone. Even among itself, the transport ship moved silently through space. Inside, Lena sat on a metal bench, her hands free, her posture calm. Two armed soldiers stood near the door, tense and alert. Commander Holt stood across from her, watching every small movement. No chance. No gaffes. Not because they trusted her. Because none of their restraints worked. The first set had melted. The second had shut itself down. The third had simply opened. Holt had stopped trying. Black Site Orion is a restricted place, Holt said, breaking the silence. Only high-level threats go there. Lena looked at the small window showing endless stars. Then you should feel honored, she replied softly. Holt did not smile. You triggered systems older than this government. That message, Guardian-class life form, was not in our main database. That database is new, Lena said. Very new. How old are you? Holt asked. Lena thought again, the same way she always did before answering that question. Older than your cities. Younger than your planet. Holt exhaled slowly. The ship suddenly shook. Warning lights flashed red. A pilot's voice came over the intercom. Commander. Unknown ships exiting warp. Not registered. Non-hostile pattern unknown. Holt rushed to the control panel. The screen showed three massive shapes forming outside. Smooth. Dark. No weapons visible. But Holt knew better. Those are not human authority ships, he said. Lena stood. They followed me, she said. Holt turned sharply. Your people. No, she answered. The ones who hunt us. Before Holt could respond, the ship lost power. Gravity flickered. One soldier slammed into the wall. The other raised his rifle, unsure where to aim. The darkness lasted 3 seconds. Then the lights returned. And Lena was gone. No. Holt spun around. She now stood between the soldiers and the door, calm as ever. I didn't want this to happen near your people, she said. But they forced my hand. The ship shook again, harder. Outside, energy beams cut through space. One struck the transport shield, cracking it like glass. Commander, the pilot shouted. Shield's failing. Holt looked at Lena. If you can do something, do it. She studied him for a moment. Not judging. Measuring. Then she nodded. Very well, she said. Lena placed one hand on the ship's wall. The metal did not glow. It listened. A deep hum filled the ship, low and powerful. The cracked shields repaired themselves, reshaping into a stronger pattern, one no human engineer had ever designed. Outside, the attacking ships froze. Their weapons powered down. Their engines went silent. The battlefield went still. On the bridge, every human stared at the screens in shock. What did she do? A pilot whispered. Holt stepped closer to Lena. You just shut down 3 warships. Yes, she said. I asked them to stop. You asked? Holt repeated. They cannot refuse, she replied simply. The enemy ship slowly backed away, slipping back into warp. The danger passed. Silence returned. Holt looked at Lena differently now. Not as a threat, but as something far more dangerous. An ally or a judge. At Black Site Orion, alarms echoed through deep metal halls as the transport landed. Scientists, soldiers, and officials gathered behind reinforced glass. Lena walked in without fear. Dr. Mara Klein, head xenobiologist, stared at Lena's scans in disbelief. Her cells adapt faster than our instruments can read, she said. It's like her body decides what laws to follow. Lena glanced at the glass. I can't hear you, she said kindly. Dr. Klein jumped. Holt stepped forward. Why hide among humans, he asked. If you are so powerful, why live as one of us? Lena's voice softened. Because humanity matters. That answer surprised everyone. You fight wars, she continued. You fall. You rise again. You protect each other even when it costs you everything. That is why my kind stayed. Stayed? Holt asked. To guard, she said. To watch. To step in only when extinction comes. Dr. Klein whispered. Guardians. Yes, Lena nodded. We were made to protect young species. Humans were one of them. Holt felt a strange mix of pride and anger. Then why didn't you stop our wars? Our suffering? Lena looked at him with sadness. Because growth requires choice. We only stop endings, not lessons. Before Holt could reply, a siren screamed. A technician ran in. Commander. Those ships, they transmitted a signal before leaving. What kind? Holt asked. The technician swallowed. A declaration. The screen lit up with alien symbols. Then clear human words appeared. Guardian Reclaim Protocol initiated. Earth designation, asset. Silence fell. Asset. Holt repeated. Lena's fists clenched for the first time. They see Earth as property, she said. Because Guardians once protected it. Dr. Klein looked pale. And now, Lena said quietly, they are coming to take it. Holt turned to the room full of humans, scientists, soldiers, leaders. They think humanity belongs to them, he said. Lena met his gaze. Yes. Holt straightened his back. Then they don't know humans, he said firmly. Lena smiled. That was the first real smile she had shown. Now, Holt continued. Tell us how to fight them. Lena looked around the room, at the fragile humans who still stood tall. You fight, she said, like you always do. How? Holt asked. With courage, she replied. With stubborn hope. She paused. And with a guardian who has chosen your side. Far beyond Earth, ancient fleets began to move. But for the first time in a very long time, humanity would not face the dark alone. Earth did not sleep that night. Across the planet, screens turned on by themselves. Phones vibrated. Emergency signals broke into music, movies, and quiet conversations. People looked up in fear as the same message appeared everywhere. Unknown fleet approaching. Origin deep space. Time to arrival. 72 hours. Panic spread fast. Governments met in secret rooms. Militaries raised shields and weapons that had never been tested in real war. Old enemies paused their fights and watched the sky together. At Black Site Orion, Commander Holt stood before a world map covered in red lines. They outnumber us 10-1, an admiral said. Their ships are older. Stronger. Lena stood at the edge of the room, silent. They believe Guardians will not fight for humans, she said finally. That is their mistake. Holt turned to her. Can you stop them? Lena shook her head. Not alone. A general frowned. Then what good is? Holt raised a hand. She didn't say we can't win. She said not alone. Lena looked at Holt with respect. The Guardians were never meant to replace a species, she said. We were meant to awaken them. The room went quiet. Humans have something rare, Lena continued. You adapt faster when you are afraid. You fight harder when the odds are unfair. A scientist asked, "What do you need from us?" Lena placed her hand on the table. "Trust. And permission." "Permission for what?" Holt asked. "To show humanity what it can become," she replied. High above Earth, the enemy fleet exited warp. Thousands of ships formed a dark wall in space. Their leader broadcast a message across the planet. "Earth," the voice echoed cold and ancient. "You are under Guardian Reclaim law. Submit, and your species will be preserved." Cities went silent. Holt stepped into the broadcast room. Lena stood beside him. He leaned toward the mic. "Earth does not submit," Holt said clearly. "We choose our own future." Lena stepped forward. "And Earth is under my protection," she added. The alien leader paused. "Guardian Lena," it said. "You break the old order." "I complete it," she replied. The first shots were fired. Alien beams struck Earth's outer defenses. Human shields flared, bending but not breaking. Human ships surged forward, smaller, faster, flying in tight groups. They should have been destroyed. They weren't. Lena stood in the command chamber, eyes closed, hands lifted. She was not controlling the humans. She was unlocking them. Human systems began to change mid-battle. Weapons adjusted their frequency on the fly. Shields learned from every hit. Pilots felt sharper, faster, clearer, as if instinct itself had been upgraded. "What's happening to us?" a pilot shouted. Holt watched in awe. "We're getting better." Lena's voice was calm but strained. "Your species was always capable. I'm just removing the limits." A massive alien ship broke through the line, aiming straight for Earth. "No!" Holt shouted. Lena gasped, pain flashing across her face. "I can stop it," she said. "But I won't survive." Holt grabbed her arm. "There has to be another way." She looked at him softly. "This is the way humans would choose." Before he could stop her, Lena stepped into the core chamber. Light filled the base. Across Earth, every human felt it, a warmth, a strength, a quiet voice saying stand. Lena became something more. A wave of energy burst from Earth, not violent but absolute. The alien ship froze, then folded in on itself, disappearing. The rest of the fleet halted. The alien leader spoke again, fear now in its voice. "What have you done?" Holt whispered, tears in his eyes. "She made us guardians of ourselves." Lena's form faded, her voice echoing one last time. "Humanity, protect what you love." The enemy fleet retreated. Earth was safe. Days later, the world gathered in silence. Lena's body was never found. Only a mark remained on the ground. A symbol now carved into stone across Earth. A guardian's mark. Holt stood before the public, speaking for all humans. "We were protected," he said. "But we were never weak." He looked up at the sky. "And we will never belong to anyone." Far away, ancient beings watched Earth with new respect. A young species had stood its ground. And the universe learned a new truth. Humanity does not need gods. Humanity becomes one when it must.